everybody has their own decisions about how they view the risk here, because inherently you can never get to zero. That you just have to. I mean, that's just the reality of this, and how you view the risk and how you view it with your family. That's everybody's personal decision. So if however somebody personally comes down and how they view it for the safety of their loved ones, I mean that at the end of the day, that's their own personal choice. I only can only speak for myself, and for me, how I view the testing. I guess that's where, being a part of the union and the subcommittee of getting to see really the efficacy of the saliva test that we have. It's better than the nasal swab test. And so, actually reading those studies and seeing that they can detect the virus at a higher rate, really to me alleviates a lot of fears for me on my end, and especially for my, for my wife and my kids as well, that I wouldn't be necessarily bringing it home. Because the testing is going to be happening at a frequency that should provide the answer to the result that if I were to somehow contract it, I'd be able to test for it at an early enough stage. So for me, the testing is such a huge aspect to this of restarting our season, and the test that we do have seems to be at a very high rate of efficiency of being able to, or I should say, a high accuracy, a high accurate test. So that that I do feel safe about going into a clubhouse and knowing that everybody else is tested multiple times negative to really curtail any possibility that somebody could have it right now. How are we going to be safe? Obviously this seems, when you have asymptomatic carriers, that this is inherently risky. And how could you mitigate that risk? That's kind of what we were wanting to hear from the experts, and especially the CDC and the epidemiologists that thought, how could you do this? And when you start understanding, okay, you got to start worrying about your off-field behavior of making sure you avoid any high-risk situations. Make sure that you're getting tested at a frequency every few days to be able to catch a virus if somebody were to contract it. And then have protocols while you're at the field to make sure that you have multiple lines of defense if somebody were to get it. And the biggest thing, I guess, in my mind, that what this came back to is to prevent the spread. You can't prevent anybody from contracting the virus if they catch it away from the field. Our biggest concern is the spread of the virus and having it spread throughout a clubhouse. And so when you factor into testing and the fact that we have protocols and PPE in place to help prevent, even if there was somebody who were to contract it and be able to get through the testing system, that there's still even an additional line of defense to prevent a spread. To me, that kind of alleviates a lot of fears, at least for me, and then hopefully I was able to convey that to the other players.